really start to siege up and fortify a position right here, use the Vikings to keep the Colossus away and start to shell that assimilator and some of the mineral patches. But it looks like he really doesn't even have a factory down anywhere, kind of just I don't even know what happened to his factory. There it is, kind of floating around, and he is going to take out his own backdoor rocks to his third expansion. So both players here really playing extremely cautiously. Nirvana maybe a little bit more so. I'd like to see both players secure their third in a relatively short amount of time. Nirvana, one thing I gotta fault him for though is really not using the energy on his chrono boost whatsoever. On his Nexus he has a lot of energy, almost 180 saved up total. Here we go, Select is gonna push forward. He should be careful though. That's actually where the Colossus start to get real deadly with 4 stacked on top, and Nirvana does have enough stalkers to take out these Vikings if they get too close. Select here gonna get some additional sight range with the factory floating in, and he's gonna try to snipe one of the Colossus out, and the Marauders coming up to stim. Great force fields there, splitting the Marauder army in half, and the Marauders are not gonna be able to fall back here. This is very difficult for the Terran player. Vikings though have done some crucial damage, killing off half of the Colossus number. The Marauders about 8 or 9 alive, and a handful of Marines as well, and Select forced to stim to get out of harm's way. Great play by Nirvana there, using the force field to tip the scales in his favor. In fact, if he had not used that force field right there, he could have been in a lot of trouble. But the fact of the matter is the force field allowed him to block the Marauders off from stimming, running in, and sniping the Colossus. So Sentry, force field, and Stalkers are really helping to keep these Colossus alive, keep them safe and out of range from the Vikings as well as the Marauders. Looks like Select here controlling the northern watchtower. Nirvana here has a probe up here just to see when the command center does go down, and Select has indeed secured, or at least placed down, the third command center. Nirvana meanwhile has not yet secured his own third expansion yet, just now throwing up a pylon. I'd like to call attention to the production tab. We actually have Zealot legs as well as Templar archives coming down. That can help immensely against the Bio Ball. Looks like the Marauder's gonna stim up here and try to do some damage, focusing down one of the Colossus. One Colossus gets taken down, but that is a lot of Colossus still in the back. A second one falls. Stalker's still doing really good damage here, and oh my goodness, Select forced to fall back. I think he just bit a little bit more than he could chew, and the Stalkers and Zealots threatening to push forward and possibly end this game prematurely. I don't think Select really was expecting something like this to happen. One bunker gets taken out. He needs to hold on to this bunker using the drugs. Once again, if he can take that Colossus, that would be a nice little help right there, and it looks like he did indeed snipe it down. That's what I'm talking about. Marauders with that stim can snipe Colossus so easily, and I think that Select should be able to hold on with minimal damage, force the pull SCVs off the line. These SCVs gotta be careful. If Select loses too many, that is gonna hurt really badly. Looks like he did snipe out the final Colossus, but has the damage been done? Nirvana there killing a handful of SCVs. You guys can see he's just propelled forward in terms of harvesters, 50 over 33, and his income is still even for now, but once he Maynard's over some of those probes, he's really going to shoot ahead. He has 17 harvesters additionally, and now he's also teched out to Templar tech. He's got Psionic Storm on the way. Does he have the charge finished? I'm assuming that charge for Zealots has finished as well, and charge lots are fairly good against Marauders and Marines. So charge lots with this Psionic Storm, I think, is a wise decision. It's gonna Nirvana needs a third gas though, so he can support both Colossus production as well as Templar production, and he is going to get that third resource node, which means the 5th and 6th gas. So Nirvana here looking very strong at 92 food, Select here at 80, so just a little bit behind, and he's struggling to catch up in harvesters as well. 43 under 55. The observers for the Protoss players still like the map hacks that they always have been to see exactly what Select is doing right now, and Select has his factory just kind of floating randomly out in the middle of nowhere. Nirvana here going to come in with a couple of charge lots. No, decides to back away from this third expansion. What we'd really like to see, it looks like, ooh, he's going to bait away all the Marauders to deal with these Zealots, and he's going to push forward with his main army here, catching the Terran player out of position. I don't think Select realizes this is going to be forced to run his Marauders back home as quickly as he possibly can, and here Nirvana needs to be careful. He doesn't want to allow the Marauders to snipe these Colossus. He has to land some nice storms. One good storm going down right there. Is he going to get a couple more? A couple of decent storms, but the Marauders stimming and getting out of the way, and sniping those Colossi down. Great play from Select right there to dodge those Psionic Storms and snipe the Colossus. It looks like he is going to be able to hold a couple of Archons recycling from the remnants of the Templar, but unfortunately, I think Marauders are just like knife to butter against Archons. Archons get slowed by the concussive shells as well, and the last Archon here is going to fall to these Marauders, and Select holds on. Great play right there. Looks like we had a little bit of lag right there for Select. And I gotta say, great hold from Select. I thought he was gonna get caught out of position. He could have lost a lot of Harvesters. He's still behind, but he's got a much better chance of winning this game now. He's got to be careful about those Templars and Colossus as well as Immortals. Looks like Nirvana now realizing that he needs more Immortals to deal with the Marauders. Has started to switch off from Colossus production. He's just gonna rely heavily on Charge Lots, Templars, and Immortals to deal with the Marine Marauder Bio Ball. Mainly Marauders actually, and Select here is just controlling the southern watchtower, but is in a threatening position to take out Nirvana's third. Nirvana at 116, Select at 109. Here we go, could be a big battle here. Templars storming down on the Marauders. Marauders are very weak right now, and this dropship doesn't have much energy to heal up this huge pack of Marauders. This could be very bad for Select. If he gets caught out of position and some storms land down, he could lose a lot of his forces, and he's got to be careful about that. Kaidaran Amulet being researched. We have a couple Banshees coming out from a dual starport with Tech Labs here, and they are getting Cloak as well, so Select is going to try to be sneaky here, a late game technology switch, and he's going to try to catch the Protoss player off guard. And what I really like is notice how Nirvana has no anti-air whatsoever right now. Those Banshees could be huge. They can take out probes, they can snipe out the Templar. Oh my goodness, Nirvana doesn't realize this. His observer's just been chilling here. He doesn't see the dual starport, and that could be brutal when the Banshees arrive. It looks like some of the dropships going to load up the Marauders to get them out of harm's way, or perhaps just help, just pick them up and run away. But Nirvana here is going to get open access to the third. Oh my goodness, all these SCVs could go down to Storm. This could be very brutal. Looks like Select going to save his Storm though. Oh, using feedback on the Banshees so they cannot cloak. Great play right there, but there's still no anti-air to deal with the Banshees. Oh, the Templars are all getting taken out. And a command center does fall though for Nirvana, so nice pickup for him, but he could be in a lot of trouble with no storms whatsoever. He's just charging into these Marauders who are just on drugs right now. Select is just gonna brutalize everything, and oh my goodness, this is not good. The Banshees are still firing on the Immortals. SCVs coming out of the way as well, and Select holds on. Great play, switching out to Banshees. Oh my goodness, I don't think that our Protoss player Nirvana realized that was going to happen, and he now needs to get Stalkers out. He is now starting to pump them out. But the last two battles have really been in favor of Select, although Select did lose his command center, so I gotta say perhaps that was actually a good trade for Nirvana, even though he lost the majority of his army, and Select maintained his. Right now Select is only mining off one base. You guys can see 680 to 1500. Nirvana here at 120 supply, Select at 109, and it looks like we have Banshees coming over to the west or the east side of the map, cloaked up, and they are gonna take out a handful of probes. Oh my goodness, they could take out all these probes, and this is just huge for Select. This is going to narrow that Harvester gap. In fact, it could even put Select ahead right now. Select also controlling the center of the map. There is no observers to detect these Banshees, and the two of them still have energy. It looks like an observer finally coming into play to deal with the Banshees, but so many probes have been taken down. You guys can see that income gap now, 44 over 40, so Nirvana not as dominant as he once was, and this game is right